Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. So, welcome to Internships 101. We're the University Career Center Experiential Programs team. And to start out, just to explain a little bit about what our mission is, it's to provide quality educational programs that enable every student and alumni to achieve their fullest potential in the pursuit of advanced education and high skill employment in order to bridge to future careers and lifelong learning. I'd like to introduce you to our team. We have Brianna Hobbs, the Assistant Director, Kayla Hamilton, our coordinator, Amy Howe, who is on the call with me, and I'm Alyssa Uckerman, and we're both Experiential Programs Assistants with the Experiential Programs team. So just a quick overview of what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to talk about what an internship actually is, how to prepare for the internship search, some searching tools that you can access and use, how to stand out when you're searching for an internship, eligibility requirements for when you want to earn academic credit or transcript notation for your internship, the process for applying for that, and we'll have some points for questions throughout the presentation and at the end. So if you have any questions, head over to the Q&A location, and it should be in the top right corner of your screen. You can ask questions, share some insights, and we'd love you to introduce yourself. Tell us your name, your major, and if you've ever had an internship before. And as always, please keep the comments respectful. So what is an internship? Go over to menti.com and you can enter the code 2935830. It's at the top of the screen, and type in what you believe an internship is. Okay, we got experience popping up. That's a really good one. I think that's a pretty broad and appropriate explanation for what an internship is. We'll wait another couple seconds, see if we get anything else on our screen. If not, we can come back to it later when we switch back over to this browser page. And we got 2 people that said experience, I think. Yeah, it's good. Mentorship, wonderful. Job, practice, a trial, a learning opportunity again, gaining experience. I love all these answers coming in. These are really great responses, guys. Personal development, absolutely. Exploring your career, yeah. Wonderful. Thanks so much for participating in that. We'll see if we'll get any more in the next couple minutes as we move on with our presentation. So all of those answers are definitely correct. I mean, no surprise there. It really is about getting that experience, applying what you have learned in your classroom to your career field. It's learning and application of the learning. And an internship is a really great and temporary way to do that as you're exploring your options when you're going through your academic major. And that includes developing those skills, training, supervision, and finding resources and gaining feedback from the people that are running your internship program. So really great job with those answers, guys. So why are internships important? Well, they can be very important personally. They tend to build confidence as you go through that internship experience. You gain more confidence as you're being able to apply those skills you're learning in the classroom, that knowledge into real life career experiences. They can be financially important. A lot of internships do pay, luckily, and that can help any college student in the long run because money is good. Academically, they could be important as well. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to go over the process of how to request an internship for academic credit. So being able to apply your job to your academic field as well and earn credit for it can be beneficial in the long run. And of course, professionally, you get a lot of professional development out of participating in an internship. You learn a lot from being in an actual work environment and interacting with professionals that have been in that field for several years or for a lifetime. So, what is a quality internship assignment? So, like that picture says, we don't want an internship assignment that's a coffee runner. It needs to be related to your academic discipline and your level in school. It also should be well planned out in advance of the starting date. So, I think a good quality internship assignment is a program that is well developed beforehand. The employer or the company is able to show that they have a set out itinerary for you to participate in. It's not you just show up and it's like, I guess we'll just kind of do whatever. You want to make sure that there's some structure there so you know that you're getting the best use of your time. It also allows a student to be fully integrated as a member of the work team. So you don't want to be isolated at your internship experience. You want to be able to actually interact with these professionals on a day-to-day basis. Obviously, because we work from home right now, there can be some isolating effects, but it's good to still have that interaction either through a chat function or through having regular video calls with the people that are running your internship program. You also want a program that is able to provide regular feedback regarding your performance in the internship. Anything that doesn't really provide feedback, it's difficult for you to learn where you need to grow in certain areas. Another quality of an internship is to provide appropriate supervision and guidance, as well as understanding that it is a learning experience for you all, the students. Again, you don't really want to be isolated. You want to be able to be integrated in the work environment and the team and get that feedback from your employers. There's also a difference from other short-term job or volunteer opportunities, and that there's that intentional learning agenda that I was speaking about earlier. You want to make sure that there's kind of that itinerary, there's some of that structure about what you're going to learn throughout your internship experience. It also offers meaningful opportunities for the student to increase knowledge and improve upon your job-related skills. It also should not require students to spend more than 20 to 25% of their time completing repetitive tasks such as copying, filing, etc. Or like that picture, coffee running. So Amy, do we have any questions so far in the chat? And if anybody has any questions, feel free to post them now.
We do have one. I'm telling her a general answer, but she's a first semester accounting student, master's accounting student, and she was wondering if she could apply this semester for an internship because she doesn't have a GPA.
Right. So first of all, welcome to UTD. We're really glad that you have chosen to come to our school, even amidst all this stuff going on. I would check in with you said accounting, so that would be the JSOM CMC. They have more specifics about the requirements, but I believe you may have to take certain courses before you're able to apply for the internship credit. So definitely talk to them and talk to your academic advisor about when you can begin looking for an internship and applying that for academic credit. Is there anything else that's coming?
Nope, not at this time.
Okay, great. So we'll move on. If you all think of anything in the meantime, please post that in the Q&A section and Amy will either get to you or we will address it in the next Q&A section of the presentation. So next we're going to talk about how you can best prepare for your internship search. So first you want to evaluate what values are, your interests, and motivated skills. So when we say motivated skills, it's talking about the skills that really motivate you to work and to enjoy your work environment. You also want to look at some research. So definitely access a bunch of websites, a bunch of articles that discuss how you can best find internship opportunities that match your values and your interests. Next, you want to strategize. So create a timeline for yourself. That could be really important. Um, Say, I want to get an internship for next semester. So your timeline pretty much starts right now if you want to get an internship that quickly. You can even narrow that down to, I want to find an internship by November. Also start working on your resume, work on how you want to introduce yourself, kind of your elevator pitch is what we mean with the 2-minute intro. Start thinking about how you can make connections with employers and recruiters, and find areas of support. So maybe you could reach out to your professors. Obviously, you can reach out to us, the University Career Center, and any other people that could provide support for you during your search. And again, practice is really important. So practicing that 2-minute intro, practicing your interviewing skills, and applying. So just throwing that out there, the University Career Center does offer mock interview appointments, and those are really great ways for you to practice your interviewing skills. These are some of the search tools that we currently promote with the University Career Center. Obviously, Google is great. You can just search anything and find it, and they have a specified section for jobs. LinkedIn is another obvious one, and it's a great way for you to build your profile. Through LinkedIn Learning with the university, you can take courses and finish certificates and put that on your profile as well. Glassdoor is another search site, the Wall Street Journal, and Vault has a lot of amazing resources. It's kind of like Handshake, where it just has a lot of statistics about, jobs that are up and coming, how to perfect your resume, how to perfect your interview skills, and etc. So Handshake is the big website that we use at UTD, and there are so many things on Handshake. There are opportunities, and this is how we report the internships or credit. There's a resource library. You can find part-time jobs, full-time jobs that are on and off campus, help with your resume and cover letters, on-campus interview applications and schedules if you're really focused on working on campus and maybe getting some funding for that. Career readiness seminars and workshops just like this one, career expo listings and other career events, employer visits that are scheduled, and volunteer opportunities. So I'm going to go over to Handshake really quick. And this is the student view for you all. So to find opportunities on Handshake, we're going to go down to the left right here to jobs. So the important thing when using the search function in Handshake, when you're looking for jobs, especially internships, you want to make use of the filters. So I'm going to click on all filters and say, I want a part-time internship. If you really need to be paid, if you need something for financial gain, paid roles only. And this function is really good. Employer preferences. So when you click match all employer preferences, it connects with your profile, and I think your chances of success tend to be higher when it matches employer preferences because you're exactly what they're looking for. For my international students out there, work authorization can also be really important for you. So you might want to click these as well. The industry section, you can specify exactly what you want. So say I want to do computer science. Well, not that, but programming or nonprofit, internet software. There's so many options on here. Job function, you can put your major in. You can also search for specific employers. So say, I want to work for Amazon. You can type Amazon in there and you do show results. And then it'll provide you all this results right there. So that's how you find internships on Handshake. And of course, there's so many other options where you can choose on-campus, job, co-op, experiential learning, fellowship, graduate school, volunteer positions. You can switch between full-time, part-time, or you can choose both. You can choose as many as you want. They have the work-study option and interviewing on campus, which I don't think is going on right now since we are all working from home and not able to set that up. But once we're back on campus, you can click the interviewing on campus option. So going back really quick, I mentioned events. It'll be the 5th from the left right here. And here's our event. These are the events that you can browse through. See, here's Amazon, as I mentioned. Day in the life. So we have an animator at Pixar that's coming. There's a lot of options for you to explore. And it can be employers, it could be career centers that are hosting them, panels, pretty much anything your heart desires. And then if you go over to the Career Center, this is where you'll find a lot of resources. So you can book appointments with career consultants, with our team if you're interested about internships after this session, the resources, how you're reporting the experience. Let's go to resources really quick. So again, there's a lot of options. JSOM has their own career center, so you can choose any of these if you are a JSOM student. Webinar recordings. So because we have gone virtual since about March, all of our webinars have been recorded and uploaded to here. And then there's more online resources that you can access. Okay. So that's Handshake. There's a lot more to it, but just to make sure we have enough time today, I'll leave it at that. We'll come back to it later when we talk about internship reporting, but there's so much on there that you can do. Jobs get posted on there every day. We have our student workers that are always approving jobs. So make sure to check in as often as possible if you're looking for internships, and hopefully there will be something for you on there. So I mentioned the resource page. You can also access the resources from the Career Center page. So you want to go to utdallas.edu/career. Go over to students at the top of this little section. Resources is the first button on the left. You'll click here to access. You'll log in with your UTD information. And this is another way for you to access the resources like BuzzFile, a career assessment, going global if you're interested in education abroad, Myers-Briggs, Vault, as I mentioned as well, and what can I do with this major? Okay, we're going to break again for questions. Do we have any more questions in the chat?
I'm getting some clarification, but we have someone who asked, how do we know if the job is for undergrads or graduate students?
Okay, so when you match preferences, it should pull whether or not they want undergrad or graduate. Usually when employers post, I believe they show, I want a junior, senior, or I want a freshman, sophomore, or I want a graduate student. So it should say on there. Let's take a look really quick and we can see. Just look at a generic job post on there.
Alyssa, I will add something.
Yeah.
Just for everyone, even when you look at any sort of job, the Handshake doesn't have any hard filters where you won't see anything. You're able to see everything, but that's what Alyssa was talking about just making sure you're meeting the employer preferences. You can still apply to that job, but depending on the employer preferences, whether or not you're really qualified is looking closer at those. But yeah, there's no hard, stop on it.
Yeah, so I definitely will agree with what Amy said. Just looking at this job post on here, when you filter by matching employer preferences, it does say right here that you match the school year. So they do go in and put in preferences for school year. You may not be able to see it, but it will tell you if you match their preferences for that. But definitely look in their minimum education and experience, preferred education experience. They'll usually list those out. But the main thing is the filter for matching employer preferences. Any other questions about that or anything else?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Amy. Great questions, guys. Okay, so next we'll talk a little bit about how we can stand out during the internship search process and the interview process. So the first thing that we have listed is employer visits. Like I mentioned, right now we may not have a lot of visits going on just because campus is, well, at least the career center is not functioning out of the office right now. But usually, what we'll do is our employer relations team will work with employers that want to come in and do interviews in the career center, which is in SSB on the third floor. So hopefully by next semester, if we're back on campus, we'll have those. And if you want to find them, they'll be in that event section that I showed you all on Handshake. And that'll be scheduled that way in advance. And I believe you should be able to either view it or register for it. But if you have any more questions on that, I would encourage you to reach out to our employer relations team in the Career Center. But I will say that because we're virtual, we have a lot of employer panels, so I would count that as a good way to visit with employers and get to know them and make those connections in that way. It's not the same as in person, but it's still making the best of the situation that we're in. Volunteer opportunities are another great way. So just getting involved in your community in general in any capacity is always something that's impressive to employers. So again, it's hard right now with coronavirus and whatnot, but there's a lot of opportunities that you can participate in still. We have some volunteer opportunities posted on Handshake that you can search for, but also it's good to find something that you're passionate about to get involved in. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's also a lot of virtual opportunities that you can participate in that still count as volunteering. Next is to set some goals and objectives and communicate these to your supervisor. So when you do get an internship, you want to make sure you kind of come in with a plan. Like, I specifically want to learn about this. I want to meet this goal by the end of my internship. And you want to talk about that with your supervisor as soon as possible when you start that internship. And that will outline a good path for you throughout that opportunity. As always, it's very important to maintain professionalism. So consider the appropriateness of your attire. Is it appropriate for that office setting? Obviously, if you're work from home right now, um, you don't have to consider that as much, but be aware that if you're on a virtual call, just make sure that you are wearing something acceptable for the call. How often you're using your computer or your cell phone if you are in the workplace. If you're on your cell phone too much, it may not come off as very professional because you could be looking like you're distracted from your work as an intern. Next is to show some initiative. If you are finding that maybe you've completed your tasks so far, if you don't really have a lot of projects to work on at the moment, make sure to reach out to your supervisor or other full-time coworkers in the office and ask for some assignments or request to attend meetings so you can get that exposure to additional skills and training that you could receive. Another great point is to complete all tasks with enthusiasm and a positive attitude. So, positivity is a really strong force when you are trying to break out into your career. Showing positivity just makes you stand out a lot, especially if you continue to ask questions, to be enthusiastic about the work that you're doing, about the career that you want to get involved in, and it helps emphasize that passion. And it helps with making connections with other people as well. I think people will tend to remember positivity more than anything. And of course, to kind of just sum everything together, just get involved with the company, network. If you're invited to maybe some social things, whether it's over a Zoom call or you're going out to a dinner, take up that opportunity. Don't be afraid to get out there and get to know the people that are within your network, because you never know what that connection will lead to in the future. So there are 7 core competencies that employers typically seek out in students for internships. There's critical thinking and problem solving, oral and written communication, teamwork, collaboration, career management, information and technology application, leadership, professionalism and work ethic, global and intercultural fluency. So this is from NACE, the National Association of Colleges, and I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the last part of the acronym, but it's an organization that's specifically geared towards career development. And through research and a lot of work and interviewing, they have identified these 7 competencies that employers typically seek out in students. So these are just some things that you can think about where you're at in each one of them and how you can improve upon each. So obviously, again, to emphasize this, connecting with employers is incredibly important. Uh, we offer year-round connections in both casual and formal settings. Again, we have information sessions with employers, meet and greets, career connections programs, like Explore the World of Work, job shadowing, and of course, career fairs are really important. Here's some different ways to engage at UTD specifically. So we'll get into this in just a second. The UT Dallas Internship Program, Internships Abroad, and Explore the World of Work. Right now, abroad is a little tricky, but I still encourage you all to reach out to the Education Abroad office and ask them if there are any virtual opportunities with companies abroad, because I can still provide a really great learning experience for you. And then Explore the World of Work is a job shadowing program that we have been hosting for about 8 months now. So we did one in the spring and we did one just a couple weeks ago, where it's a week-long job shadowing program, and students are matched with employers that match their career, physically go to a workplace, shadowing at the work site and seeing what day-to-day life is like in that career field. So if you want more information about Explore the World of Work, feel free to email externs@utdallas.edu and we'll get back to you on that. Okay, so now we're going to go into internship program eligibility. So lucky for you all, Amy and I are kind of the main people, your main points of contact for applying for internships for credit through Handshake. So if you have any questions, now is the time for sure. So in order to receive credit for your internship, you do need to be registered and currently enrolled at UT Dallas in an academic degree seeking program with a declared major. So unfortunately, if you had an internship before coming to UT Dallas, it will not be able to be counted as credit. You'll need to be in good academic standing. So usually it's a 2.0 GPA for undergrad students and 3.0 GPA for graduate students, but make sure you're checking with your academic advisor in your specific college, because it can vary between the different colleges. You also need to have completed at least one semester at UT Dallas, and in addition, have at least 24 credit hours if you're an undergraduate student, or if you're a transfer, have at least 24 credit hours. So if you're a transfer student and it's still your first semester, we may be able to work with you on that. And then graduate students need to have at least 6 credit hours completed. But you can start the internship process if you anticipate being eligible the following semester. So if this is your first semester at UTD, but you know you'll be eligible for next semester, we will start taking requests to have your internship for credit in a couple months, so you can start that process then. And of course, you'll need to meet any additional requirements or conditions imposed by your academic department or school. And just a quick note for graduate students, you are not going to be eligible for an internship in the same semester that you're working as a teaching or graduate assistant or research assistant. Okay, so we're going to go through the reporting process really quick. I'm going to switch over to Handshake again. So you're going to go to the top right, you'll click on Career Center. You'll scroll down and click on Experiences right here. And you're going to click Request and Experience. Just a quick note though, if you're in the School of Interdisciplinary Studies, you will not request through this process. You'll have to go through a different process for that. But once you get to this page, it's really important that you are specific about which college you're in, because that depends, or it's important because we need to be able to know what internship classes you're eligible for. It's also really important to select the correct term. So we're in fall 2020 right now, but if you are expecting your internship to be in spring 2021, that's the term you'll select. If you are requesting for a prior term, you know, say you've been a student at UTD for about 2 years or so, and you're trying to request for a term prior to the one we're in right now, and we do not accept retroactive requests. So make sure that you're timely with your requests for your internship experience for credit, because it may determine whether or not you can receive credit for it. So then you'll move on, you'll fill in all the information about your employer, your job. For my international students, the dates are really important. You'll want to check in with the International Student Services Office to make sure that you're falling within CPT, OPT guidelines with the dates, because we don't want to have to make your employer write a new letter if you have a date that's outside of those regulations. So then once you're done filling out this page, you'll request an experience, and then you'll upload 2 documents. You'll upload your offer letter and you'll upload your job description. If you're a student in JSOM, you'll also have to upload your most recent version of your transcript. So that's how you report on Handshake. And then, as I mentioned, Amy and I will go in and we'll make comments on that experience and let you know if anything is missing. Our website is getting updated very shortly, and we'll have detailed information on there about how to request. But as always, you can feel free to email us, and our email will be at the end of this presentation if you have any additional questions about how to report and how that whole process works. But that's the gist of it, of where to go and how to find it. Here's some important dates for the internships. So the earliest date has already passed. It's August 8th. And the latest date for graduating students is December 8th. So again, for international students, if you're graduating, the last day you can be employed is December 8th. If you are continuing into the next semester, the last day you can be employed is January 10th. The last day to request for credit for the fall semester is October 12th. So we still have a lot of time. We have over a month before that date ends. So make sure that you are aware of that. And if you need to get your experience in, now is the time to do that. Here's some important contacts that you need to know about for internships. For the international students, ISSO is going to be your go-to place for anything that involves CPT and OPT. Our team often gets a lot of questions about it, but unfortunately, we just don't really have the knowledge to address issues about CPT and OPT or the costs of the CPT class or anything like that. So you'll want to reach out to them first and foremost to try to get an answer from them. JSOM students, the Career Management Center has a lot of great resources, a lot of good people there that are able to help you specifically. And I know that they have certain requirements that are not always the same for the other colleges. So reach out to them if you are a JSOM student, and they'll be able to walk you through the same process as well. For students that are in the College of Engineering and Computer Science, you will need to go to the industrial practice program. So I mentioned earlier that we do not do the process for international or for interdisciplinary studies students. So we also don't do them for engineering computer science students either. They go through the industrial practice programs office, and it's built into your program. So please contact them if you need to learn about how to report your internship for credit. And then lastly is the education abroad office. As I mentioned before, it's a little tricky right now with coronavirus and with any restrictions that are related to that, but there are still some virtual opportunities that are taking place, and we encourage you to reach out to them to find out about these opportunities. So to wrap it up, here are some upcoming events that our team is hosting in the coming semester. This isn't all of them, but you can find and register for all our events on Handshake. So just a couple of highlights. We have Explore the World of Work info session. That's the job shadowing program that I mentioned earlier. That's going to be on September 1st, so that's next week. Make sure that you sign up for that soon. Netiquette, we're going to be going over how to conduct yourself online, which is really important right now. So that's another really great and informative sessions that you can attend, and it's very relevant. Don't Be That Intern, which is September 17th. That presentation is going to be about kind of the do's and don'ts of being an intern, some common mistakes that can be made, and just tips and tricks of how to start as an intern if you've never done it before. We'll have a second netiquette session on September 28th, and then we're going to have a roadmap to internships and job search, which is we're going to go more in depth about finding internships and jobs that we weren't able to get to today, and that's going to be on October 1st. So with that, this is our contact information, utdallas.edu/careers, our website. And utdinterns@utdallas.edu is our team's specific email that I mentioned earlier. You can email us anything about internships and the reporting process. So with that, Amy, do we have any other questions that have been entered into the chat?
Yes, do the internship credits count towards a specific class, and then do we have to report internships for academic credit?
So you definitely do have to report them for academic credit, no matter what. There are different classes, but that's going to be a better question for your academic advisor. Certain majors may have certain types of classes, okay? So you'll want to consult with the academic advisor on that one. But as far as I know, you will need to report your internships on Handshake, unless, like I mentioned, you're an engineering computer science student or interdisciplinary studies student. You'll have to go through different processes. Anything else?
Is credit for internship supposed to be for specific majors, or is it mandatory for all majors? This person is a data science undergrad.
Okay, so internship credit isn't required for all majors, but I know some majors do require it, or some colleges. So like the engineering school and JSOM, most of them require an internship to complete your academic program. But for all the other colleges, they're usually elective. So if you just happen to have gotten an internship and that's you have open space on your academic schedule and you just want to earn some extra credit towards your degree, you have that space. You can apply to have it count as credit through that process we showed. And that way, your course load is a little smaller, but you're also working at the same time. But the short answer is no, it's not required for everybody. But again, make sure that you're consulting with your academic advisors on this and ask them if it's a requirement for you or not. Anything else?
Yes. What is the right time to look for internships for summer 2021?
I've seen people get offers as early as December the year before for a summer internship. So start looking now. You can go ahead and search, summer 2021 internship in Handshake or LinkedIn or anything and see if anything has popped up. But my guess, if things are not popping up right now for that, you may want to wait a little bit later into the semester, maybe like November or December, and you should get some more results. Okay, any other questions?
Yes, we have. Can I get credit in an internship outside of my major?
So typically we want you to have an internship that's related to your major. Otherwise, it may not be approved because we want to be able to have that internship apply to your academic studies. So if you try to request for an internship that really isn't related to your major, it may not go through. Okay. Any more, Amy?
I think that's it so far.
Okay. We could wait maybe another minute or so. But if there's nothing else coming in, we might just call it. I'll go back to this. So if you weren't able to participate in this earlier, we definitely would love more feedback on it. So we just asked what is an internship. If you go to menti.com and enter that code at the top, you can contribute to what you think an internship is. Anything else coming through, Amy?
Yes.
Awesome.
You. Was the last day to report an internship for summer 2021 in October? I know we don't have those yet, I don't think.
No, summer reporting typically doesn't open until March of that corresponding year. So you'll have to wait for a while. But make sure that you just keep all your documentation together, like your offer letter and your job description, so you have it on hand when you go to report that internship. Was there another one, or was that just the only one that came in?
Yeah, is it possible to still do an internship for fall 2020?
I believe it is, but you may have to deal with some late fees just because of the enrollment deadline that happened yesterday. If you're trying to register for either a full term course or a first 8-week course. But I'm not an expert on that, just to throw that out there. Again, that is probably a better question for either your academic advisor. You could even contact the registrar's office.
Nothing new yet.
Nothing new. Okay. I think we'll go ahead and call it. So thank you all so much for being so active. We had a lot of great questions. And if you have anything else that you would like to say to us, any feedback or any questions about internships, internship reporting, again, just contact us at the UTDinterns at utdallas.edu email. That's the most direct way to reach us. And we thank you all so much for coming. Have a great rest of your week.